The King's Avatar, Chapter 1653 Terrifying Victory. Audio source, WuXiaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1653 Terrifying Victory. Translator, Noam Yummy. Editor, Noam Yummy. The firing line was broken through. Some of the normal players might still have hope. After all, they had seen Suma Chung's incredible control over her firing line. They had seen how she was able to produce an explosiveness at the level of a firing line at a seemingly impossible distance. However, the pro players understood that it wasn't a question of distance right now, but rather that Dancing Rain had used up too many skills. It wasn't possible for her to continue any further. It wasn't something that could be resolved no matter how skilled you were. This battle could be described by the phrase, "The river flows 20 years to the east, 20 years to the west." Right now, Suma Chung's 20 years to the east was over. Next was Zhou Zekai's 20 years to the west. Could she make a comeback? The people supporting Happy prayed for the possibility of a comeback, but to the pro players, very few of them looked at Suma Chung's situation optimistically. She used up too many skills. The pro players shook their heads and sighed. "But I feel like she shouldn't have need to use so many." Quote. A voice called out. Everyone looked to see who it was. Team Miracle's Guo Xiao. Team Miracle had joined the alliance this year along with Team Happy and ended the season at 13th. For a new team, it was a very good achievement. After all, most new teams seem to just be taking a tour of the season. They came in haste and left in haste. Unfortunately for Miracle, a devil called Happy came with them. They had come as a new team and made it all the way to the finals, taking the defending champions, Samsara, to their third game. Under Happy's glory, Miracle's originally impressive achievement was overlooked. However, Miracle's rookie, Guo Xiao, had received quite a bit of attention. He had been one of the contenders for Best Rookie. There were rumors that many top teams had taken an interest in him. His sudden outburst confused the former excellent era seniors beside him. There were countless experts and gods present. Who need a rookie like you to say your opinion? But Guo Xiao's words had piqued the curiosity of quite a few gods. They looked at Guo Xiao and soon had the same doubts. The gods sitting closer to each other quickly started discussing the issue. The other players saw the gods and looked again at the screen, watching the replay carefully. Zhou Zekai. Someone suddenly pointed to a player. Under the suppression of the firing line, he intentionally slowed down the pace, someone added. What? Everyone's heart jumped. They looked towards Tiny Herb's god, Wang Jieshi, who had spoken. Then, they watched the replay and noticed the numerous clues. He's right. Everyone agreed with Wang Jiexi's viewpoint. This was the main reason why Guo Xiao brought up the point that Suma Chung shouldn't have need to expend so much. At the time, he hadn't been able to find the reason, but he felt like something was off. He had quite the keen intuition. Right now, no one was paying attention to Guo Xiao's keen senses. After confirming the reason, they felt their scalps go numb. A chill went down their spine. How terrifying. Under the barrage from Suma Chung's firing line. Instead of getting out of it as fast as he could, he intentionally slowed down the tempo, prolonging Suma Chung's offense and forcing her to send out more attacks. This was the final deciding match. Everyone knew very well what burden Zhou Zekai carried. Yet despite these circumstances, he still dared to take the risk. Before, he had displayed an unrelenting determination and momentum, and during this process, he had quietly laid down the winning hand. Everyone was silent, just like how Zhou Zekai usually was. Everyone knew he was someone who spoke with his actions, but he had been almost too thorough, a thoroughness that exceeded their imagination. Even though they hadn't looked at Suma Chung optimistically, they at least had a thread of hope for her. However, once they noticed his winning hand, this last thread of hope disappeared. Zhou Zekai won. The rest of the fight went as expected. After Cloud Piercer broke through the firing line, he began his counter-attack. Against his 3 to 5 step fluctuating Gun Fu, even if Dancing Rain had all of her skills available. At this distance, it was hard to contend against a sharpshooter, let alone a sharpshooter like Joe Sakai, who was playing like a close-ranged class. Thunderous applause. His fight with Yishu had been too even, and wasn't able to boost the fans' morale. On the other hand, this fight had an extraordinary effect. In the first half, Cloudpiercer had been shut down by Dancing Rain's artillery fire. Joe Sakai had displayed a fierce tenacity during this stage. Then, once he broke through the firing line, he directly went for the win. The entire process had been too satisfying to watch. Oh! Samsara's fans cheered and screamed. When Suma Chung walked out from the player booth, she was welcomed with a storm of noise. Had she played poorly? No one thought so. No one thought they could have done a better job than her. But in the end, she had lost. The brilliance that she left on stage would naturally be much duller. To many people, it felt like Suma Chung had been killed in one combo. The fight had been a short one, taking 1 minute and 7 seconds. There had been numerous back and forths, but from an overall perspective, it felt like each player had made just one move. One move to win, and the one to win was Joe Sakai. Suma Chung returned to her seat. She didn't seem to be dispirited by the loss. Not waiting for anyone to console her, she let a smile, telling everyone that she was fine. Samsara had made a comeback, taking the lead against Happy. Joe Sakai's Cloudpiercer still had 45% health left. It was a significant lead, but what was more terrifying was Samsara's morale. The Samsara fans were nearly out of control from excitement. The players on Team Samsara had expressions of joy, including Sun Shang, who had lost in the first match. Happy need to kill Samsara's momentum. Then, the players on Happy saw Mo Fan stand up. He didn't say anything. His intentions were clear. Everyone then looked at Yishu. In the end, who went next was Yishu's call. Yishu was quite straightforward. He nodded his head. Mo Fan didn't say a word and walked towards the stage. Yishu hadn't said anything when Suma Chung went on stage because he knew that Suma Chung knew. But Yishu didn't say anything for Mo Fan either. Yishu wasn't actually sure if Mo Fan knew the urgency of their situation, but if he was willing to volunteer to go, then he must think he could win. Yishu didn't want to disturb Mo Fan's mentality. He could only hope that all of Mo Fan's focus would be on the match, on his opponent, on the win. Mo Fan's playstyle was quite suitable for putting Samsara's momentum to stop. Even if hadn't volunteered, Yishu had considered sending him up. WuxiaWorldAudio.com. Two players who didn't like to talk were now facing each other. These two players preferred to use their actions to speak for themselves. The match soon began. This was a crucial match, and Happy had sent up their rookie. Any other team would have certainly been put under much scrutiny. It made more sense for Happy though. In this new team, apart from Yishu, Suma Chung, and Fang Rui, the rest were rookies. Although Wei Chen was an old general, no one really considered him as a major fighting force. But Happy had Fang Rui, who had yet to go. Given their situation, it didn't feel like it was the time to hold back. Wouldn't it be better for Happy to put in Fang Rui? Pan Lin believed. Usually, that would be the case. It isn't the time to put in a rookie. However, Happy's only remaining experienced player is Fang Rui. Putting in Fang Rui right now isn't ideal. There would be no chance for a large comeback. Putting Mo Fan might actually be better. He can act as a buffer, making it much easier for Fang Rui next. Li Yibo analyzed. That makes sense. Then, let's all watch the match. Pan Lin said. The battle began. The map hadn't changed. The area at the center of the map still had traces left over from Yishu's fight against Sun Shang. Most of these traces were left by NPCs. Next were the two fights won by Joe Sakai. Both battles had been fast-paced. The plot of the map hadn't been touched when the battles ended. What about this round? Joe Sakai had charged forward fiercely the previous two rounds. What about this time? Would he slow down for a steadier pace? No. As soon as the match started, Josechai's Cloud Piercer rushed out decisively just like in the last 2 rounds. He was going with the same pace and the same energy to beat his opponent. No one felt tired by the same strategy. In fact, they felt even more excited. The crowd started chanting Josechai's name, chanting for a 1v3. Yes, if Josechai won, it would be a 1v3. Even if his first opponent, Yushu, had been nearly dead when they played, the data would show that Josechai would beat 3 players. Cloud Piercer would have killed 3. A 1v3 was shocking enough. Of course, 3 full health enemies would have been the cherry on top, but even so, there was no need to bicker about it not being the case. 1v3, 1v3, 1v3. The Samsara fans hollered. They weren't satisfied with just winning. They were looking for more. On this final stage, a 1v3 couldn't be more perfect. End chapter.
The King's Avatar, Chapter 1654. Even Luck Isn't Here. Audio source, WurshaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1654. Even Luck Isn't Here. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Josechai is really driven today. Like many others, Pan Lin could feel the unwavering determination and energy from Josechai. But I have to commend Mo Fan. It really isn't easy for a rookie. Li Yibo said. It was a very important round, yet Happy had sent Mo Fan against Josechai. The pressure he was under wasn't light. After the round began, although Deception's movements weren't fast or hurried, he wasn't slow either. He was moving forward at a very ordinary pace. His steady pace let everyone know that Mo Fan was calm right now. He wasn't impatient, and he wasn't afraid. As a rookie, on this grand stage, in this crucial match, it truly wasn't easy. That was why Li Yibo commended him. As the 2 characters gradually approached, Mo Fan's deception finally stopped. He moved closer to the canyon wall, and then used his ninjutsu to begin scaling the canyon. Soon, he found himself a foothold. Deception landed on it, and then curled up into a ball. The broadcast and stadium screens quickly switched to a different camera angle, one that looked up from down below on the canyon floor. Deception could faintly be seen from this angle. He wasn't completely hidden. Moreover, this distance was within a sharpshooter's attack range. Cloud Piercer could easily reach him. Deception looked around, checking his surroundings. Then, he suddenly stood up. Mo Fan had been studying his position, but in the end, he wasn't satisfied with it. After checking his left and right, Deception continued to climb. This fight clearly wouldn't be as direct as the previous fight. Mo Fan went with his usual strategy, searching for an ambush spot on this map. During the previous group arena rounds, he had noticed a few spots through his spectator view, but he wasn't experienced enough to judge each spot thoroughly at just a glance. He needed to examine them further personally during the match. As it turned out, the first spot that he noticed was unsuitable. Deception soon found a new foothold. This spot was lower than the previous one. This time, Mo Fan's Deception didn't even look down. He looked AEAD, and then immediately left. That spot was too low. Next, Deception continued to scale the walls. Even though he was moving nimbly, Josechai's Cloud Piercer was getting closer and closer. If Cloud Piercer arrived before Deception could find a suitable hiding place, then Mo Fan's plans would be completely wasted. Happy's fans were anxious, hoping that Mo Fan could hurry up and find a good spot. Samsara's fans were anxious too, hoping that Josechai could hurry up and get there. Through the direction Deception was moving in, the broadcast team was able to figure out which foothold Mo Fan would look for next. The next foothold was rather high up. Ambushing from there would actually be a bit far. However, the height and the area of the protrusion made it appear as if it would be able to completely hide a character, unless the other side also climbed up there. It would be inconvenient to attack from there, but at the same time, Mofan would be out of Josei's sights, and he could set up an ambush. Who was faster? One was moving forward, while the other was moving up. Cloudpiercer appeared, but Deception was nowhere to be seen. He made it in time. The camera switched to Cloudpiercer's perspective. The moment Josei's Cloudpiercer reached the area, he immediately checked the walls surrounding him. But just like before, when he looked around, he didn't find anyone. Samsara's fans were worried. They hoped that Josei would instinctively sense that something was wrong. Happy's fans were also scared and on edge. They hoped that Cloudpiercer would continue dashing forward, leaving his back open to Deception. Suddenly, at this moment, a chance occurred. The hidden NPC troops cropped up from on top of the canyon. Josei immediately noticed him. In the next second, the NPCs fired all sorts of long-ranged attacks, straight towards a certain spot on the wall. Deception. The NPC hidden troops had attacked where Deception had been hiding. The spells and explosions obliterated the protruding rock. Deception quickly jumped away to dodge the assault. Josei had been completely prepared. He immediately looked all around him, looking for incoming attacks. But to his surprise, there was nothing. The hidden troops on the two sides of the canyon had unexpectedly only aimed for Deception. They seemed to have completely ignored Cloudpiercer down below. The situation was clear enough. The spot that Mofan had chosen had triggered the NPC troops hiding on top of the canyon. This definitely came as a surprise. After all, this was a random map. No one except the developers knew the characteristics of this map. However, it could also be said that Mofan hadn't thought about his plan carefully enough. He hadn't considered that he would trigger attacks from the hidden troops. It was a bit of an unfair criticism though, something an armchair expert might say. After all, the NPCs up above were quite patient from what they had observed up until then. It wasn't until the NPCs started getting entangled that they began throwing stones at someone who fell down a well. Mofan's Deception had been climbing higher and higher, but he was still quite far from them. No one knew what the logic behind the AI was, and it was impossible to reach a conclusion. In any case, for Mofan, for Happy, it couldn't get any worse than this. In the first round of the group arena, Sun Xiang's one Autumn Leaf ended up being attacked by the NPCs, while Yishu's Lord Grim rested easy up on the wall. But in order to avoid aggroing the NPCs, he didn't make any attacks. The NPCs weren't enough to stop Sun Xiang, which was why the whole series of events afterwards happened. If Yishu had instead attacked one Autumn Leaf along with the NPCs, Sun Xiang would have been in major trouble. Mofan was in the same sort of crisis. His situation was different than Sun Xiang's. The hidden troops on the two ends of the canyon were only throwing long-ranged attacks at him. They didn't seem to have any intentions of approaching any closer. Right now, if Josei's Cloudpiercer attacked, he wouldn't need to worry about the NPCs unless his marksmanship somehow turned extremely poor. Josei instantly grasped the main points. For him, it was as if an opportunity had fallen right into his lap. Josei wasn't polite. He kindly accepted the gift. Gunshots echoed throughout the canyon, bullets shooting towards Deception. Despite having such an enormous advantage, Josei didn't act carelessly. His first attacks were aimed to prevent Deception from continuing to climb up because he noticed that Mofan wanted to rush to the top of the canyon. However, with Josei's impediment, Mofan didn't succeed. Climbing the mountain wall wasn't as easy as moving on flat ground. Mo Fan was forced into helplessness. He could only have Deception land back onto the ground. Did the NPCs stop attacking? This was what Happy's fans hoped for, but they knew that it was unlikely, very unlikely. As expected, the attacks didn't stop. The hidden troops on opposite ends of the canyon continued to attack. Cloudpiercer would sometimes be implicated in the attacks, but he clearly wasn't the main target. Head shakes and sighs. The more neutral pro players shook their heads and sighed. It was impossible to predict these sorts of surprises before the match, and it just had to happen in such an important match. This 1 point was practically a free gift. WushOurWorldAudio.com. Given these circumstances, if Josekai's Cloudpiercer lost even a single drop of health, it would be considered his loss. And he didn't. Josekai didn't relax at all even with this enormous advantage. In fact, he became even more vigilant. Cloudpiercer kept an appropriate distance from Deception at all times. Mo Fan tried to close in several times, but failed every time. Josekai had been bravely charging forward the entire time. Even when he was facing Sumo Chung's explosive firing line, his Cloudpiercer didn't back down a single step. But now, he was no longer showing the same determination and bravery. He was playing very carefully because he knew that in this situation, in these circumstances, this sort of playstyle would better strangle Happy's morale. The turning point was lost just like this. In this critical confrontation, Mo Fan was utterly defeated. He wasn't even able to land a single blow on his opponent. What could be more cruel, more painful than this sort of defeat? What was even more frustrating was that everything, whether it was his strategy, his execution, his playing, had come crashing down because of one single bout of bad luck. 1v3. Josekai had done it. The third round's victory had practically been gifted to him. But that alone wasn't all, because this round told everyone that it wasn't just technique, decision-making, knowledge, intuition, energy, even luck was standing by Josekai's and Samsara's side. How could this sort of team be beaten? What weakness did this sort of opponent have? When Mo Fan walked down from the stage, the away team crowd was dead silent. Samsara's fans weren't too enthusiastic either. They were showing how relaxed they were, as if victory was already within the grasp. Josekai, Cloudpiercer, 45% health left. Behind him were 3 Samsara players, while Happy only had 2 players left. He was fighting like his life was on the line, relying on his own strength to take down Happy in these dire straits. This was Josekai, the Josekai who had led Team Samsara to 2 back-to-back championship wins. No weakness could be found on him. Even the illusory Lady Luck was on his side. Was this the new King of Glory? Samsara's fans filled the stadium with cheers for Josekai. The moment Mo Fan returned to Happy's seats, it was as if the match had been decided. Tang Ro looked at Ye Xiu. Others might be thinking that Happy had already lost, but her fighting spirit hadn't diminished at all. Ye Xiu was just about to give her the nod, when someone suddenly stood up, cutting off their line of sight. Fang Rui lifted his golden right hand to his mouth, spat on it, combed his hair, and said, "Looks like you guys are hopeless without me." End chapter. The King's Avatar, Chapter 1655, The Hindrance of Cannon Fodder, audio source, WushOurWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1655, The Hindrance of Cannon Fodder. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Happy's Fang Rui is going to play next. Pan Lin saw the scene going on at Happy's player area. He felt a bit regretful. He felt like Fang Rui should have played last round, but Happy sent Mo Fan out instead. Li Yibo immediately had a discussion about the merits of it, and Mo Fan's calm and unhurried tempo affirmed their opinion that Happy's decision was fine. But then, a dramatic change happened. If you looked at the outcome, then sending out Mo Fan had been a grave mistake. Not only did he lose an extremely pivotal match, he had been utterly crushed. The loss was a huge blow to Happy's morale. As for Samsara, their state of mind could be seen through Samsara's fans, who were sitting there pleased, confident that victory was already in the grasp. Group Arena, 4-2. Ever since the new competitive format for the playoffs came into play, let alone the finals, no Group Arena in the playoffs had ever had such a huge disparity. What was worse was that in this 4-2 Group Arena, Joe Zekai, who had won 3 rounds in a row, still had nearly half of his health left. 1v4. The crowd was already chanting for a 1v4. Before today, no one thought it was possible for a 1v4 to happen in professional play. However, today, Joe Zekai's condition, as well as Cloud Pierce's health and mana, made everyone feel like a 1v4 was a genuine possibility. The difference between Happy and Samsara is really being shown here. Lee Yibo suddenly said, Happy only has one Yishu, while Samsara has a Joe Zekai, and now a Sun Xiang, Lee Yibo said. Sun Xiang. He was seen as the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle for Samsara, becoming this season's best partners with Joe Zekai. Sun Xiang had blocked off Happy's biggest threat, Yishu. Afterwards, Joe Zekai took down what little health remained on Yishu's Lord Grim. Then, he went on to beat Sumo Chung and Mo Fan. Now, Cloud Piercer was like a tiger looking for his next prey. As for Fang Rui, last round, Pan Lin thought that it would be safer for Happy to send out Fang Rui. However, for this round, Pan Lin didn't look at Fang Rui as favorably as he had last round. This was because of Joe Zekai's momentum. Even an all-star player like Fang Rui didn't seem like he could stop Joe Zekai's momentum. It felt like Fang Rui was just cannon fodder. And this was the feeling they got even not knowing Fang Rui's actual situation. You gonna be okay? Yishu grinned as he asked Fang Rui. For the other Happy players who didn't know that Fang Rui wasn't himself right now, it didn't sound like anything was wrong. The team had 4 senior members. Apart from Sumo Chung, the other 3 weren't exactly the most serious people. It was common for them to talk trash about each other. But Fang Rui knew that these seemingly normal joking words had real meaning today. Even if I'm not, I've got to go. The team really can't do without me, Fang Rui said proudly. The others on Happy didn't find anything wrong, but Yishu could hear what Fang Rui was implying. Yes, we don't have any other choice. No matter how things are, I have to go. Yishu didn't say anything more. He wasn't completely clear how Fang Rui's condition was, but he knew that Fang Rui was a responsible player. He wasn't going to play if he didn't think he could win. It could only mean that he could still fight. He didn't want to go before, probably because he only wanted to fight if it was necessary, and right now was the time. Watch me bully him. Fang Rui clenched his golden right hand and walked towards the stage. But this time, whether it was Yishu or Fang Rui, their easygoing attitudes weren't able to infect the others. Everyone on Happy looked exceptionally solemn. All of them knew how grave their situation was. Mo Fan, who hadn't contributed anything last round, looked even more dejected when he returned. The comforting from his teammates were completely ignored. Don't worry. Yishu looked towards him. Mo Fan walked right past him. Those words were too light. How could he casually wave off such a devastating defeat? Your teammates are still fighting. Yishu continued. Mo Fan turned his head. Yishu was no longer looking at him. Mo Fan followed Yishu's gaze to Fang Rui, who was still holding his clenched right hand up in the air. So we haven't lost. Yishu turned his head to look at him. We haven't lost yet, we? Mo Fan stared blankly into space as he sat down at the corner that had always belonged to him, at the corner where no one would disturb him. But at this moment, Mo Fan suddenly felt like he wanted to sit a bit closer. That way, perhaps he'd be able to see the match more clearly. The fifth round of the group arena began. It was only the fifth round, and Happy was down 3 players. Their fourth player went on stage to challenge Samsara's second player, Josekai, who still had 45% health. The shouts for a 1v4 shook the stadium. Happy's fans were in low spirits. At this moment, they couldn't find the energy to compete with Samsara's fans. They could only grit their teeth and watch the next match. The map loaded, the characters spawned. Even though it was the fifth round, apart from Yizhu vs Sun Xiang, all the other rounds had gone by quickly. None of them had gone over 2 minutes. What about this round? Everyone paid attention to Josekai and his Cloud Piercer. The broadcast didn't make an exception. As soon as the round began, they directly focused on Cloud Piercer, ignoring Fang Rui's Boundless Sea. Because it was the first time anyone had done a 1v3 in the finals. It was a feat that no other famous god had done before. Just this alone was enough to be written into the annals of glory history. However, right now, he had the chance to take it one step further. He was making his way towards the even more unbelievable 1v4. Nothing shined brighter than Josekai right now. He was the focus of everyone. Fang Rui, Boundless Sea? In their eyes, he was just a hindrance to history. Everyone was just waiting for him to be broken apart. Fang Rui wasn't given any attention by the camera, but he was going to make himself known. How arrogant. It looks like you haven't gotten your fill of fighting yet. Everyone laughed. What sort of situation are you in? Yet such big words. How hilarious. Ignore him. Everyone hollered in their hearts. Sure enough, Josekai ignored him. WhooshOurWorldAudio.com. Cloud Piercer rushed out. He rushed out again. Excited screams filled the stadium. Yizhu, Sumucheng, Mo Fan, and Fang Rui. Josekai was just as determined, decisive, and unwavering as before. Anyone who didn't support Happy was probably aflame with excitement. The broadcast finally gave in and gave a bit of focus towards Fang Rui. Josekai had once again charged forward. What was Fang Rui doing? The scene shown by the camera suddenly turned still. The canyon walls on the 2 sides weren't blurry from movement, and there was no shaking from the character looking around. The camera seemed to be displaying an image. Everything in the image was still. The point of view seemed to be moving, but it was very, very slow. Sometimes, he'd be looking left. Sometimes, he'd be looking right. Sometimes, he'd be looking behind, at a wooden sign saying, "Military area, death to intruders." Boundless Sea wasn't moving. After 4 rounds of the group arena, someone had finally made the decision not to take the initiative to attack, choosing instead to wait for the opponent to come. After checking the surroundings, Boundless Sea began spinning around in place. What is he planning? Everyone thought to themselves. People began noticing this hindrance, this person who had been regarded as cannon fodder. Fang Rui, the master of playing dirty. Fang Rui. What could he do besides playing dirty? Everyone immediately thought of the wooden sign that they saw from Fang Rui's viewpoint. Military area, death to intruders. This bastard. Was he thinking of some sort of scheme to directly send Josekai's Cloud Piercer into the area designated death to intruders? But how could it be that easy? For one, Boundless Sea was closer. Plus, Cloud Piercer was a sharpshooter. He wouldn't let Boundless Sea get close to him easily. In that case, how was Fang Rui going to send him to this forbidden zone? Everyone felt like it was impossible, but they couldn't help but worry. End chapter.